Enhancing your life, we down for the fight. D-U-D-U, chosen generation, chasing purpose, about to heal the nation. D-U-D-U, enhancing your life, we down for the fight.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? What's going on, everybody? And welcome to Session 5 of Discover University's Summer School. As I told you guys last month, for the month of August, we're taking over the calendar and we're focusing on college preparation. So whether you are an upcoming freshman, you are a second termer, let's say you old like me, you 33, but you still trying to make it through this maze of getting your degree, figuring out your major, knocking out this financial aid stuff. What is a FAFSA? What the heck is that mean? All that stuff. I'm telling you right now, this lady right here, she gonna help you out. Okay. So again, thank you guys for being with us today and tonight, man. It's gonna be an amazing journey. Welcome to learning how to apply for your FAFSA. So let's get into it. So let me tell you guys a little bit about me. If you don't know, my name is Robert Vann. I will be graduating from Regent University with bachelor's in Christian leadership and management, and I start in September my master's in organizational leadership with a concentration in leadership and coaching. It's been an amazing journey. It sounds really cool, but what people don't really know is it's taken me 14 years to complete my first degree, and that's why God inspired me to have this, because I don't want people to have to go through 14 years of pursuing something. I paid off college loans with no degree, and I do not want you to be in this same position. So as we go forward with this, please take notes. If you need to take notes, it's viewing live right now in 2 places, Facebook and YouTube. So if you would like to rewatch this on Facebook or YouTube, replay it as many times. Bring your whole family in, you watch it, learn what you need to learn, so that way you can go forward and do what you need to do, okay? So let me tell you a little about Discover University, though. Discover University is a virtual platform that I started last year in August, around August time, to help empower students and adults in 3 areas: leadership, purpose, and self-awareness. Self-awareness is the key to everything. It's the foundation of where we work, how we view about ourselves, how we do relationships, how we do our education. But many people don't know. What I've learned recently is that we pick our major out of our own passions. So if I like sports, so I'm gonna go. Today it's gonna be important, because whatever you see in yourself is how you're gonna choose and decide your major. So as we go forward, and you won't be successful in school if it's not paid for. Can I get an amen from somebody in the room? Okay, you have to pay for this school stuff. So knowing how to manage and go through the maze of this FAFSA application is going to be important. So let me tell y'all about my homie today. Okay, so Miss Doctor, I'm gonna be good today. Miss Charity Lyons is a native of Chesapeake, Virginia, who currently serves as a musical artist, worship leader, psalmist, intercessor, and education professional. She holds 2 degrees. She's smart, y'all. A Bachelor of Arts in Music with an emphasis in jazz from Old Dominion University, and a Master of Arts in Practical Theology with a focus in worship and media, and is now pursuing a doctorate of worship studies with an emphasis in leadership. Charity offers expert insight in higher education, as she has served in several roles within the enrollment management, including admissions, financial aid, and advising for diverse collegiate sectors, including junior colleges, private Christian institutions, historically Black colleges and universities, and public college university. Y'all, one day I'm gonna get music and stuff and fire come up on the screen. Y'all clap it up for my homie, the big dog, the psalmist, the intercessor, the educational. She do everything, y'all. I'm giving it for right now for those who are viewing on Facebook, those who are viewing on YouTube. Shout out my homie. Put some fire in the comments. All right, so I'm gonna be quiet, y'all. She's gonna be doing the talking and educating for the rest of this session. But let me get off this share screen. And Miss Charity, I'm gonna let you take over, okay?
All right. Hey everyone, I'm super excited to be doing a session on financial aid and Discover U today. I know everybody wants to get to the money, so that's what we are here to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay. Here we are. All right. So we're gonna go ahead. Oh, I should have did this before. Sorry, you guys.
You good?
Here we go. Play from the start. Ta-da. All right. I don't know if y'all can hear it. Hey, let's get to that money. Hey.
Okay. Right now. Go a little up.
All right. I just want
to get that money
there because we trying to get to that money, right? That's the whole point.
Come on, man.
So this is Financial Aid 101. Let's get to that money. All right, let's go. All right. So these are a couple things I wanted to just go over with us really quick, just to kind of see if we know if these are true or not. So this is asking, financial aid covers all tuition costs for every student. Is this a fact or a myth? Fact or myth? I want y'all to respond in the comments. What y'all think? What y'all think?
Myth.
No? I mean, is it true?
Financial aid covers all tuition costs for every student. I'm saying myth.
No? Okay. We'll circle back. Federal loans are not a part of financial aid. Fact or myth? Oh, no. Are they a part of it? Everyone qualifies for the Pell Grant. And if a parent does not include a child on the FAFSA, the student is considered independent. I want to dig into that last one so bad right now. We're going to go through the entire one. I hear that one all the time, you know. For all of these, none of these are true. These are all myths. Financial aid does not cover all of the tuition costs for every single student, and you'll understand why a little bit later in the game. Federal loans are a part of a financial aid package. So some students are kind of looking like, well, I didn't get any financial aid. Why am I seeing just loans? That's a part of a federal aid package. And then everyone does not qualify for the Pell Grant. This one is really just depending upon, you know, some tax information, how much families make, etc. And then if a parent doesn't include the child on the FAFSA, it doesn't automatically make them an independent student. And so we want to try to stay out of murky waters. I want to give these things at the beginning because this is always something I used to hear all the time. Being in financial aid, you know, us kind of just messing with stuff and changing stuff that we really ain't supposed to. So we're gonna get it right. We're gonna get y'all right. All right. What is a FAFSA for? Free application for federal student aid.
Never knew
That's what it's for. So if you get to a website and they're trying to charge you, that's not the FAFSA. The FAFSA, the first word in FAFSA is free. Okay, free. So you shouldn't be paying for a FAFSA. If you get to a website and they're trying to charge you, that's not okay. Where do I go to complete the FAFSA? Studentaid.gov. This is the correct website. A while ago, it was FAFSA.ed.gov. If you type that in, it'll redirect you to studentaid.gov, and you'll still be able to see it. But that's the website, y'all. If y'all want to jot that down, if somebody want to drop it in the comments, you can see it. Studentaid.gov is where you're going to complete the FAFSA. Okay. What do you need to complete the FAFSA? Okay. So these are some things you're going to need to complete the FAFSA. The parent and the student's 1040 tax return from 2 years prior. So the FAFSA that's out right now for 2023. Wow, we're going to get to that one. So if you're looking to go to school next fall, so not this upcoming fall, next fall, you would do the FAFSA for 2023, 2024, which has not been open yet. That will actually open up October 1st, which I'll get to that slide in a minute. If you're looking to go to school in the fall, if you're going to be attending a college certificate program, any type of trade program that offers financial aid, you need to be doing a FAFSA for 2022, 2023. I'll explain 8 years in a little bit, but that's going to be from fall spring and summer of 2023 is going to be the 2022-2023 FAFSA. And they're going to ask for your taxes from 2 years prior. This is actually something the Department of Education changed a little while ago, where they asked for taxes from 2 years prior. And they did that to make it easier for people to be able to do the FAFSA, because some people are still trying to file their taxes from last year. So they know most people, you probably did your FAFSA from 2020, your tax from 2020. So you can go ahead and just enter that information into the system once you get to that point. If you don't have your 1040, you can use a W-2 or a tax transcript. You'll probably have to manually calculate a couple things, but it'll show you in the FAFSA if you do need assistance. The names of the institutions you're looking to attend. So of course, you're probably going to want to have those jotted down, the name of all the schools you want to go to. Each school has what is called a financial aid school code. It's a list of like 6 or 7 digits. Most of them are on the institution's website. You can Google them if you're not sure what they are. It's just a quicker way of finding the school in the FAFSA. You'll create a FSA ID in roughly about 30 minutes. Now, this is 30 minutes if you have everything.
All your stuff.
Right. You got to have all of this. So the taxes, really the most important part is the taxes, honestly. I think it will allow you to get to a certain spot in the FAFSA without them, but without the tax information, it's not going to process or send to the school, even though technically it's going to show you it will. It's not going to go through. I've seen this on both sides. So just take my word for it. Trust me, it's going to save you a lot of time. Okay. Then how do you complete the FAFSA? You're going to create an FSA ID on studentaid.gov. And I have some screenshots just so y'all know where to go. You'll create an FSA ID on studentaid.gov. You'll locate the complete FAFSA section, log in with the FSA ID, and then you'll select the I am a student option. There's also a section that is I am the parent. Either way, it's going to take you to the exact same FAFSA screens. You'll enter in the exact same information. If you're a parent doing the FAFSA on behalf of the child, you'll do I'm a parent. If you're a student and you're going to do it, and you're still going to include your parent after the fact, I don't know what age groups you might have. You're, graduate student, you'll say I'm a student, etc. Okay, and then you'll just continue through the sections until you're complete. So this is what I was talking about, you all. So this is the studentaid.gov website. When you go on the website, you'll be able to see this section right here, which it says apply for student aid. Complete the FAFSA form is what you're going to click on. And then it'll take you to this screen. This is the welcome page. So the welcome page is going to say new to the FAFSA process, start here. If you're returning, let's say, for instance, you went to school last year, you're transferring, you're already in school, I don't know where to go, I done forgot, I don't know what my FSA ID is, it's okay, it's all right. You can click either log in, and it'll be a place you can put forgot your FSA ID, or if you're brand new, you'll just click start here, okay? And then this is the role section. So you're going to determine right here, you're going to tell us who you are. So remember, right, we talked about, selecting which one applies to you. So I'm the student and I want to access the FAFSA form. This is if it's you doing the FAFSA. I'm a parent filling out a FAFSA form for a student. So that's for the parents. Most people, you're not going to have to fill this one out. Those are special scenarios. So try to stay away from this one at the bottom. But these first two right here are really the two that you're going to be looking at. Then you will go ahead and log in to continue, and you'll continue on in the process, okay? I don't know if I include how much I did. Okay, yep. This is the first section of it where you're first going to enter your first and last name, your birthday, your social, and then you'll continue through for the rest of it. It's going to ask basic information, what high school you attended. It's going to ask for your tax information. It's going to ask for your home address. It's going to ask how long you've lived in the state of Virginia. So all of these things, you want to make sure you're just looking at the questions and just answering accordingly. It's super easy, y'all. I know sometimes we get super nervous about the FAFSA. When I say the FAFSA is so easy, it really is. Like, they make it very user-friendly. And if you ever have any questions about what to do in a section, this little question mark right here, if you hover over it once you log into the FAFSA, will explain what they're asking for. So when you get to the tax section, I know sometimes that's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what the AGI is. I have no idea. Hover over the question marks and it'll explain exactly where to find it. Like it'll take you to the IRS website. It'll take you on the 1040, look in on the 1040 section 12A, and then give us this number or subtract this number in this section from this number in this section. Like it gives very detailed instructions. So they try to make sure you know how to do everything on your own. If you don't, it's okay. You can call the university financial aid department, and then they also have a number with the financial aid department of education as well. You can call to try to get assistance too if you're not sure. Okay. This is again the login page where you're gonna go and put in your login information. We talked about the FSA ID. That's where you would put in your FSA ID that you've created. If you don't have an FSA ID, then you would just click on create an account and you'll make one. You need an FSA ID before you can start the FAFSA process. So just make sure you have that handy somewhere in your notes, a piece of paper, wherever you're going to keep that information, and of course your password, and then you'll be able to log in. Okay. So we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I want to make sure I was very clear about this. FAFSA applications are available October 1st of every year. So the FAFSA for 22-23 actually opened last October. So everybody who was looking to attend school this fall, the FAFSA has been open since last October. Now, for those of us who are already in school, you should have been doing it. But that's all right. That's okay. You can still do it. It's not too late for you to complete the FAFSA, but I know we are getting really close to a lot of school start dates. So you might want to hurry up and get that done if you have not done so already. For those of us who are looking to go to school next fall, your FAFSA is going to be opening up October 1st of this year. So just make sure you put that date down on your calendar. For those of us who are still in school, just keep the FAFSA opening date on your calendar every year, so that way you have a reminder. I know when I was in school, I made sure my FAFSA was done October 1st. Like, just go ahead and do it so it's out of sight, out of mind. You're not worried about it. You don't have to be, did I do it? I don't know. It makes everyone's life easier. Just in case you have to make any corrections or anything, you have plenty of time to do so you're not rushing. Always advise to use the IRS data retrieval tool in the process. That for the parents, it is amazing. If you filed your taxes already, all you're doing when it gets to that section, it says, do you want to include the taxes? You'll put in your filing status, and then you'll enter in some information on the IRS website, which if you've already done it and you're renewing the FAFSA, it's going to pre-populate for you, and it's going to pull all of that data from the IRS over to the FAFSA. So it's just a plug and chug. You don't even have to enter in any numbers. You don't have to know an AGI. Everything that you need for your taxes, it's just going to automatically do it. So if you can use the IRS data retrieval tool, I always say to try that first. And then if it doesn't allow you to use it for some reason, then just make sure you have your taxes handy. So that way you can go ahead and still do it and not have any delay. These are different types of financial aid. So I know I talked a little bit about this at the beginning. You have gift aid, which is need or merit based. And that includes scholarships and grants. So both of those are things you do not have to pay back. And I'm going to go a little bit into what need-based or merit-based is considered a little bit later on. But in a nutshell, those you won't have to pay back. And then you have self-help aid. So when you see there's loans and work study that are a part of the self-help aid. Loans would be subsidized, unsubsidized loans. Your subsidized loans generally have a fixed interest rate. They come from the Department of Education. Interest rate is super low. I always advise for anyone, if you are going to be taking a federal loan, you're considering using a federal loan, you got packaged a federal loan. I never advise whether you should or shouldn't take it, but if you are going to take it and if you are going to utilize it, federal loans are probably honestly, in my opinion, from what I've seen and working and having experience, dealing in finance, probably the best interest rate you're going to get for a loan to attend college. 9 times out of 10. Subsidized loans have 0% interest on them until the student graduates from college. So interest won't accrue until after you graduate. Unsubsidized loans also have a fixed interest rate, but the interest begins to accrue the day you accept the loan. So you just want to keep in mind, if you're going to accept subsidized or unsubsidized loans, as Rob said at the beginning, it is so important to be intentional about, your major, being committed to the academic process, going to class, getting your work done, because you will have to pay those loans back whether you get the degree or not. Okay. So that's a key component. I know some people say, don't take out any loans. Everyone's situation is different. I always say, if you're going to use them, only use what you need. I know a lot of people that went and blew refund checks like, oh, I'm balling. I can't say that I wasn't guilty, because I know I was when I went to ODU. First couple semesters, like, oh, we got money. Yeah, but I have to pay those back. So just, make sure you're being a good steward with the Department of Education's funds, because you are going to be responsible for paying that back in the long run. Work study is really good as well. This is something that's included in your financial aid package, but it's not necessarily counted towards your tuition. So how work study works is the Department of Education says, hey, we're giving, here's some funds that we're going to allot on your account, almost as like a bank, so to speak. So if you're looking to get like an on-campus job, something to kind of help you maneuver in your field, let's say, for instance, you want to go into athletic training and your school has an athletic program. They need a manager for the basketball team. They need a manager for the track team or whatever. And you take on that job as you get, you say you want to get connected. You take that on and work study. You would be able to use now the funds provided in your financial aid package to get paid from the work study position. I know when I was previously employed with Norfolk State, a lot of those work study positions, they paid very well. Like students were making between 10 and $12 an hour at these work study positions. And I know I'm like, dang, that's more than I was getting paid when I was in school. Like, you get paid well, you get a certain amount of hours, and you get to use this experience now to go on your resume, which is super important, because when you graduate, colleges do look at your resume in college. So just something to try to, help you along the way, make you a little extra coins. You're not working at McDonald's. Keep that work study in mind, y'all. I'm telling you, it is a godsend. I use work study all the way through college, as well as did other things to work as well. So just something to keep in mind. All right. How is need determined? So I know on the last slide, remember, I'm going to go back real quick. So you see how we had gift aid, need versus merit-based. Need is this calculation right here that I'm getting ready to show y'all. So this is how we are getting to need. You're like, what does COA and FC stand for? I'm going to tell y'all in a minute, okay? So this is the calculation for how we're getting to need. That's cost of attendance minus estimated family contribution. This is the math behind how the Department of Education is telling institutions how to determine how much need a student has. And I know for the parents, y'all probably looking at you see your account summary and looking at this stuff like, my child needed money. I can't afford it. Everybody needs money, right? When I say I get it, mama, daddy, I hear you. I get it. I see this all the time. We all need the money. But unfortunately, when it comes to, how they're looking at need, how the Department of Education is looking at need and how you looking at need are two completely different numbers. They're calculating need based upon what they generated from taxes, based upon what the cost of attendance is, and how they generated your family's estimated family contribution, okay? But we'll get to that in a minute. So we had these are different types of aid: need-based versus merit-based. Okay, so need-based, of course, is going to be based upon need, which is that calculation we just had before: cost of attendance minus EFC. That's what they're determining as need. That may or may not have additional criteria. Merit-based, of course, is going to be your things that you can earn based upon an accomplishment, like scholarship, etc. So those are not necessarily going to be subjected to a financial number, but it may be looking at like a GPA requirement, a major requirement, being a part of an organization, etc., an honor society, things to that nature. Okay, so we talked a little. Remember how you all saw COA? This is what we were talking about: cost of attendance. So cost of attendance is going to be something that the institution is looking at to determine how much it's going to cost a student to be a student at the university as a whole, right? So it's factoring in tuition, fees, room and board, books, supplies, dependent care, disability expenses, etc. A lot of these different things that are included in the cost of attendance are part of, again, how the Department of Education requires universities to calculate need. And that's how they look at how students calculate financial need. So how the university is looking at need and what you seen at your account summary are not going to be the same number, okay?
Yeah.
It's not always every family created equal, unfortunately, because everyone's taxes and income is going to be different. So it is going to be subjective. But cost of attendance for the most part for every single student that is in state will be the same, and then out of state students have the same cost of attendance. But this is something that is pre-populated by universities that they have to have in order to actually have a federal aid program. So that's actually a fun fact. Most people don't know that, but it's something that has to be set in place in order for them to calculate aid effectively. You have what is called estimated family contribution. Again, this is calculated based upon information from the FAFSA. And I know it says expected family contribution. It's not technically the amount that your family is expected to contribute to your education, but it is them inferring based upon the taxes, you all probably are in position to do this, right?
Got you. So they like, we seen your taxes.
We saw
Don't
your taxes.
act like you can give them $1,000.
You see what I'm saying? And now, granted, you got to think the Department of Education, they're not looking at your cable bill is this much, your light bill is this much, you got 12 kids in college at the same time, you only got one income. Like, they're not looking at none of that. They're looking at this your income, this your taxes, that's it. You might have had a couple things you wrote off, but they're not looking at day-to-day expenses, which is why sometimes I see situations where it's like, well, why is my EFC calculated as this? And I had this. There are certain situations where you can talk to a financial aid department if something is like outright off and you think, I think the Department of Education might have messed up. That process, you would just talk to the financial aid department at the school to see if there's something else that can be done. But for the most part, whatever the EFC is generated, that's what it's going to be. So whatever it is what it is. I will always advise when it comes to EFC, and I'm going to leave this out here because I know we got a lot of different backgrounds watching this. Do not try to lie on your taxes to get more financial aid. Okay? That'll create a plethora of things. You're probably going to get flagged from the school, right? Then we got to ask for your documents because we realize something is off. And we know. I used to have to deal with the files. It's called verification. If there is a discrepancy or some of the financial data is off, now we're going to ask for all of the tax information from the previous 2 years just to make sure it's correct. Sometimes if, let's say, for instance, it slips through the cracks, somebody puts something up there that they weren't supposed to, we don't catch it. The IRS has 7 years before they can audit. So you either going to get caught by the university, the Department of Education, or the IRS. Just don't do it. And I say this because people do things to try to get the Pell Grant because they're like, well, I make too much, so I'm not going to include somebody on my taxes to try to. Don't do that. You're going to get caught, okay? You might not get caught now, but eventually you're going to get caught. And I just don't want to see us go down that rabbit hole. So just want to make sure I throw it out here because you all be surprised how many people end up looking really sad when their baby can't go to school because now we can't package them correctly because somebody lied on their taxes. Yeah. It's just not fun. Okay. But this is pretty much an index that determines how much need-based aid which a student is eligible. Okay, so the need-based aid, we're going to go into that a little bit. All right, so this is an award letter. So I'm not sure if people have seen this. If you're getting ready to go to school, you will get this from every school you have applied to and have a FAFSA on file for. They're going to send you what's called an award letter. I don't know, Robert, you got one of these when you were in school, right?
Yep.
You see these? Okay, cool. So this right here, I love how they had Sample University. I think that's so cute.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, they could have put Discovery University on it. It's okay. I won't say that.
You know, God
We'll get
willing,
there.
I'm gonna do it. Okay, come on. We'll be handing out some award letters one day. We're gonna speak it now.
You know, see,
All
I
right.
told you can do it. I told you.
You're gonna do it. Okay, so this right here is a award letter, and it's pretty basic. It's gonna include your academic level. It's pretty detailed. Most of them are gonna include the school, your grade level, your academic level, maybe your major. It'll probably have a student ID of some sort. All of them don't always indicate if you're gonna be staying on campus. Some of them do, but this is going to give, you see how we talked about cost of attendance. So this number they got right here factored in tuition and fees, housing and meals, books and supplies, personal and miscellaneous. Okay. So there are certain things that are considered educational expenses that each university has to calculate in to a student's cost of attendance. Okay. And they do that again, right? We have to have the cost of attendance, EFC, which is given to us by the Department of Education after you do the FAFSA. That's the number the Department of Education determines solely, not the school. So when people looking at the school, like, why is it? That's the Department of Education. They kick out a number. We use a number to calculate. That's pretty much it. Okay. And then you have all the different awards that the university provides. So if you get a scholarship, it's going to be listed here from the university. The Pell Grant, if you qualify for that, will be listed. Any additional grants, and they'll be separated which ones are grants, scholarships, and loans. As you all can see, that's a state scholarship this person would have had, federal work study, right? Remember, they got a nice little pot to pull from. Sorry, y'all. And then they have some loans listed there. And this is all of the aid now that they've received for the year. So most schools are gonna automatically split the aid between fall and spring semesters unless you indicate that you want them to do otherwise. The reason why they do this is to make sure that you get the most aid throughout the entire year, and that it is evenly dispersed. Most of the aid has to be evenly dispersed, which is why you see it showing on the award letter as such. So just hold on to this. You get your award letter. I really feel like this needs to be a determining factor now to help you figure out where you're going to go to school, how much money you need to get, if you're going to take on federal loans, how many you're going to take, etc. This right here is like your cheat sheet to help you figure out what is your coin needing to look like in order to afford to go to the university. Okay. And of course, I just want to give some tips on applying for scholarships. Now, there are a lot of things that I want to try to tie in here. I know we don't have a whole lot of time, but when it comes to applying for scholarships, just make sure you do scholarships on legitimate websites, like,
because there's so much out here. I'm sorry.
It is. You're right. It's so many scholarships out here. Like, it's a lot of scholarship websites. I always just say, if you can look for a section where it's like verifying the security, that's important. To make sure like it's a secure website. You ever typed in something in Google and it's like, this website's not secure? I probably wouldn't go to those. Like, just making sure it's legitimate. Again, making sure it's not something you have to pay for first. If you have to pay for something to get to a scholarship, to me, that feels a little sketchy. Like, I don't know if that's a good look. So you can do a Google search. Make sure you apply early. Okay, I got some do's and don'ts that I have at the end. It's gonna really help us. But just early is the name of the game. You don't want to procrastinate and expect all this money to fall out the sky. I know sometimes we look at like, oh, well, I'm going to just wait, and see if they provide some more money. They're probably not. I'm going to just tell you right now, I've worked at I'm at my third institution. I've been in 4-year private. I've been in 4-year public HBCU. Now I'm in a different sector. Listen, the whole last minute name of the game, I'm gonna try to pull all this money together, and I know classes start tomorrow. That's not it. Save yourself the time and energy, okay? Get a good game plan when it comes to applying for these scholarships, and just take advantage of every opportunity you see available. Do not ignore the $100, $250, $50 book scholarships. I know my freshman year, I racked up. I had like 7 or 8 $250 scholarships. Okay, listen, we was getting the coin. Okay, we was getting to the money. So don't be fooled. You're like, dang, I want the $10,000 scholarship. I want the $50,000 scholarship. Like, those are amazing numbers, but how you get to these, the full rides, so to speak, where everything gets covered, is because people apply for every scholarship regardless of the amount. And if you get it, then you get it, and it gets to apply to your account. So don't ignore the small ones. And of course, we already talked about watching out for scams. Just pay attention. These are just some general scholarships that I list up here. Now, of course, I can't list every scholarship because there's too many of them to count, but these are ones that I have dealt with thus far. If y'all want to take a picture of this, if you want to screenshot it, I'm gonna leave it here for a second just so you can get it. This is for those of us who are, what kind of school you want to go to. So if you want to go to an HBCU, I would just go ahead and throw it out here right now. UNCF is your friend. That is the United Negro College Fund, and that particular website only awards scholarships to students who are attending HBCUs. So that's like, where you go, I'm going to an HBCU by far. You need to look at that the first row right there. The Thurgood Marshall Fund is really good for masters and doctoral candidates as well. They have a lot of graduate assistantship opportunities and fellowships listed up there. The Tom Joyner Hungry Foundation. These are just ones that I've seen and working at the HBCU. Junior college, so that's like your TCC. That's your it's not Thomas Nelson. It's Peninsula Community College now. That is for J.R. Sargent, those in Richmond. You want to make sure you look through the Tidewater Community College Educational Foundation. And even if you're looking at, maybe you're trying to do a trade, you want to get into an apprenticeship, they also have ships and opportunities now. So just take advantage of these opportunities to students who are I want to say a freshman, sophomore, junior in high school, and you have not taken a PSAT. You need to get a PSAT study book. You need to be studying, and you need to be preparing yourself, because the PSAT membership, those students who score high enough and apply for that particular scholarship can get pretty much all of their school taken care of. It's like a full ride. And most people don't pay attention to PSAT because everybody looking at the SAT, ACT. That PSAT one is a game changer. Pay attention to your sophomore, junior. You need to be studying for the PSAT ASAP Rocky. Okay. Gates Millennium Scholarship also is one that is a full ride, covers everything. Gates Millennium Scholars get everything covered. I had a friend that I went to high school with that was a Gates Millennium Scholar, and she is now, and they cover multiple degrees. So she got a bachelor's, her master's, now she's working on her doctorate, and she's still under the same scholarship. Has not had to come out of pocket. Insane, right? Has not paid a dime for a single degree. And she got 2 masters. 2 masters, yep. Did a joint degree at Regent, got 2 masters, did her undergrad when we were at OU together, and is now currently a PhD candidate. Insane. Has not taken a single student loan at all. So it's workarounds. You don't have to take a loan if you really don't want to, but you got to really hustle when it comes to getting these scholarships, okay? I'm trying to wrap it up because I know we're on a time limit. Okay. These are the state of Virginia grants, the Virginia Guarantee Assistance grant. That is only for state schools. So when I say state schools, that is your Virginia Tech, UVA, VCU, Old Dominion, Norfolk State. These are all state funded institutions. The Virginia Commonwealth Grant, again, only applies to schools that are considered a public school. right? These are just public schools. And then you have the Virginia College Affordability Network Scholarship. This one is big because this one just came in again, maybe the past couple years now. This one is really specific to students who are Pell Grant eligible and live within a certain radius. The good thing about the Virginia College Affordability Network Scholarship, or VCAN, is the fact that once you get this one, it will cover all 4 years of college.
Wow.
This is a full ride. A full ride. Okay, y'all hear me? Full ride. Everything is covered. Okay, so this is only at 2 schools right now in the state of Virginia. That's Virginia State and Norfolk State. Now, for Virginia State, you have to be in the radius, I want to say, of the Richmond area, because it's a certain mile radius from the institution. So if you live in the 7-5, sorry, you can't get VCAN. You go to Virginia State. But if you live in like Chesterfield, if you live in Henrico, the Varina, Midlothian, all of those areas in like the 804, and you want to go to Virginia State, Petersburg, something to consider, and you know you're Pell Grant eligible, definitely go on the VSU website and see what's happening. If you can qualify for that. Norfolk State also has an application process as well that you can go through. Listen, I'm just putting y'all on. I've actually worked at Norfolk State, so I know this is an amazing opportunity. So, you know, I know some people are like, nah, I don't really want to. For a full ride, we need to be considering, okay?
Yeah.
We need to be considering. I wish they'd have had this when I was in school. I might not have went to Old Dominion. I might have chose different. You know what I'm saying? Full ride. Come on now. If it's free, it's for what? Me. Come on. Okay. Then we have the Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant. That is only for private institutions. So your private schools are going to be all of your Christian schools: Virginia Wesleyan, Regent, Liberty, Hampton University is a private school. So, you know, these are
I've
just
got that one a couple times.
What, Virginia Tuition Assistance Grant?
Yep. And
Yeah.
it took me about 10 minutes to fill out that application. It's literally a 10-minute application, no essay, nothing else. And then they approved me. So for fall and spring, I got $1,600 each semester.
Do you have to pay it back?
Nope.
See, it's just taking advantage of the opportunities, y'all. You gotta look, you gotta pay attention. When they become available, you see something in your campus announcements, etc. It's a grant out there. Go ahead and apply for it. Make sure you take advantage of it. Now, Sat, I'm gonna try to roll through this really quick. So we gotta wrap up. Satisfactory academic progress. I hope that I never have to have this conversation with anyone. But I'm gonna just go ahead and put y'all on. This is something that every institution who has a federal aid program has to review for every single student who's receiving federal aid. And pretty much it is them keeping tabs on your academics. There are minimum GPA requirements for every program and every grade level. And this is just to make sure the Department of Education is getting a return on their investment, right? They want to make sure you're progressing to the next grade, passing your classes, going to class, etc. How many people? I know quite a few people that got to college and was just like, I'm gonna have me a good time, I'm gonna do whatever, didn't go to class, and then they ran out of it because of this. Okay. SAP is super important. Satisfactory academic progress is important. I'll just give y'all a few tidbits. We already talked about it's calculated at the end of each semester. Some schools may or may not have an appeal process. So if you ever become ineligible, some schools will let you plead your case and say, hey, this is what happened. I can send some stuff. Some schools won't. It's just like the aid is gone. It's gone. That's it. You got to get a private loan. And that's not a good look, because if your federal aid is gone, now you got to come out of pocket and pay for it. And you might lose your scholarships too. So we just want to stay away from this. This is all part of the financial aid as well. So just want to make sure I ran through that really quick. It is listed in the student handbook of most colleges. They're going to enforce it whether they tell you up front or not. So they might not talk to you about this. Just say now. Most schools not going to talk to you about this up front. But I'm telling you now, from having to work it, from overseeing this entire process for a university, just make sure you're staying on top of your stuff. If you need help, talk to professors, etc. So you're doing academically well. And then, of course, do's and don'ts. I know we're doing good on time as well. 6:44. Okay, I'm wrapping up. All right, do's and don'ts. If you choose to accept the loans, only accept what you need. Stay away from private loans. Stay away from them, okay? They're not repayment friendly, and they're always as lenient in the event you were to run into financial hardship. Don't be afraid of going to a community college now. You know, everybody talking about going to a 4-year school. Community college helps save money, okay? And there is scholarships and funding for community colleges as well if you want to look into that. Every school you're looking to attend, make sure you're applying by the early admission deadline. The early admission deadline for most schools is when they're determining who's getting the merit scholarships. All the money gets dispersed at that early admission deadline. I can guarantee it. Most schools are not going to pull from the regular deadline because you waited too long. Early bird gets the worm, okay? So make sure if they have different deadlines that, okay, this is early admission or early decision deadline, apply by the first one and not the second one. That way you know you at least qualify for the merit scholarships, okay? Of course, look into work study, prepare a general scholarship essay. So I know my dear friend, Miss Keisha, is going to be coming to talk to y'all in a couple weeks about some stuff about this, but this is just me putting y'all on to what helped me get a general scholarship essay, you know, something that you can tweak, make adjustments to, get your letters of recommendation. Those people who are able to write a letter of recommendation for you in advance, go ahead and get them to get you a few of them so you have them, and have transcripts on deck. So you're not scrambling when you see a scholarship. You can go ahead and have your little scholarship binder area, etc. I definitely had a scholarship binder where it had all these things: general scholarship essays, letters of recommendation, and transcripts on deck. So I wasn't running around. I would advise you do the same. And of course, do not procrastinate. Do not procrastinate. If you are a junior in high school right now, you need to be looking at colleges and narrowing down where you're going to apply now. Do not wait until your senior year. Now, for those of us who are in our senior, it's okay. We still have time. All is not lost, but senior year goes by like a blur. You got prom, you got homecoming, you got senior pictures, graduation, all these things you're focusing on and trying to college. You got to make sure you prioritize making sure what's going to happen after high school, so that way you prepare for your future. I think I've kind of hit on everything. Do a tour if you want to go. That way you're not wasting your money getting there. You don't like it. For military people, use your military fund day. Okay, CA, GI Bill. Some schools might be yellow ribbon schools. Pay attention. Make sure you ask them, are y'all yellow ribbon school? That means whatever it is not covering your military benefits, they are able to make up for the rest of it. Yellow ribbon is really good. Voc Rehab, VA benefits, etc. Military dependent funding, etc. Things of that nature. And that is it. Thank y'all so much. I wanted to make sure I was on the time schedule that we had, y'all. I know I wish I could talk so much more. If you have any more questions, do not hesitate to reach out to me. Hit me, send me a DM. I'll try to point you in the right direction. Did I do good on time? Hopefully.
Yes, ma'am. Right. This whole time I just been sitting here like, bro, this is nuts. This is crazy. Thank you. You like a volume of book. You can tell you have tenure in this space because it flow like water. But thank you for everything. Because you asked me earlier this week if I applied for my FAFSA going into September, and I was like, I think I did. And I'm about to go into my master's, so I have to verify that. I may have to update it. But thank you. Let me see if there's anybody here. If anybody has any questions, man, who we're currently doing right now on Facebook, on YouTube, just hit us up in the comments. If you're viewing later, whatever, morning, noon, or day, just hit us up, either through a direct message or through the comments on Facebook. Miss Charity, thank you. Thank you. Because I'm like, bro, if I would have known these things before, because I graduated with a band scholarship and an academic scholarship. I still had to get 2 loans. So, but now I was literally just thinking, should I go back and look at my father? I probably didn't have to get them 2 loans. Probably not. But again, thank you, man, for your time, for your wisdom, for your effort. I pray you guys have learned something, been blessed by this, man. It's been an amazing time. Man, it's a lot to take in. We're gonna have to rewatch this again. Rewatch this again. Take some notes, especially for the evaluation and how they determine, if you have enough, if you don't have enough, because at one time I qualified for Pell Grant, but there was other times I didn't qualify. I'm like, bro, where my money at? It ain't your money. Anyway, so thank you for your time, and we're gonna get out of here. Let's just pray real quick. Let's just pray, because I'm hoping that somebody is inspired by this, that they're encouraged to go to school, that they're encouraged to finish that degree. Whether you've been like me, you've been 14 years, 15 years trying to get your first degree. It can happen. Keep working. I started in 2008, and it's 2023, and I'm just gonna finishing my first degree, but I did not stop. Yes, I served in the military for a while, but it took I wanted to get it. I wanted to be a young black man and get a degree. So it is possible, man. If you're a first-time learner, you're coming out of high school, or you've been out of high school for a while, you didn't want to go to college, but you think you need to go get what you need to get. Let go get that money. All right, because the money is available. So let's pray. God, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for being able to empower and to teach. Thank you for Miss Charity, her ability to eloquently just give out this information. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for her time and willingness. I pray, Father, that those who are viewing this right now and who will view this later, this information, Discovery University, will help to pivot their family line. Thank you that doctors are being raised out of this, lawyers, engineers, leaders, photographers, athletes are coming from this information, and they will be blessed by it. Thank you for what you have called us to do. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. We love y'all, man. Thank y'all for your time. Listen, as you were talking, I'm like, this is really happening. This is literally really happening. So thank you for helping to make Discovery University a reality. We love you guys. We'll talk to you guys later. All right.
All right.